In today's video, we will be doing this week's Smackdown recap. As always in these recap videos, we go over everything you need to know about this important episode of WWE. I give my personal thoughts on this show, and like I said, I go over all the important things that you guys will need to take away from this show. Before we get anywhere into the video, be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and go follow the socials, and the links to those are always in the description of every video. And as always for the socials, that includes my Instagram account and my X account. Also, you guys can leave me your thoughts, like I said, on everything that happened in this week's episode of Smackdown down in the comments below. But now, let's get right on into the Smackdown recap. Alright, so we kicked off the show with Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. Now, this was a actually decent segment. I think this was a actually decent opener, man. So yeah, Solo Sikoa, he comes out and he basically says Jimmy Uso stomped out. Jacob Fatu stomped out. Sami Zayn stomped out. So if anybody back there wants some, and then before he could say anything else, Sami Zayn, who Solo Sikoa has been feuding with the past week it's been by now, comes out and he first says that Solo, when you basically came over to Raw and had taken me basically out of my match with Rusev, I felt liberated. Basically, I felt lost. But then I realized that there's so many other things that I've still yet to become in WWE. Yes, I do want to be a world champion, and that's what I've been looking at for the past several months and even year, but I forgot to realize that there's still so many other things that I have yet to accomplish in WWE. And then Sami says, and one of those things I'm looking at right now, and it's that US title. And then Solo Sikoa basically crashes out on Sami Zayn completely, and he basically said, he gets pretty damn angry, and he basically tells Sami, well, Sami, you can use your big eyes, and all you can do is look at this title because you're not on SmackDown, and you have no right to be on my show. So why don't you get out of here? But then that's when Sami Zayn initiates the fact that he is actually now an official member of SmackDown. So Sami Zayn will no longer be on Raw for the time being, and now Sami Zayn is now on the Blue brand, and he is now going to be feuding he's now going to be in the US title picture completely. Now, a lot of you guys know how I actually feel about the Sami Zayn booking if you've watched one of my most recent videos. But I'm not going to mention too much here. I would like to see preferably Sami currently in the world title picture, but at least he's in a title picture, I guess. So I'll take what I can get. But then we do have we do get a brawl between Sami Zayn and Solo and the MFTs. Jimmy Uso does come out to try to help Sami, but he eventually gets taken down. But then Jacob Fatu also comes out and helps out Sami Zayn and Jimmy, and then they wipe out the Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, and then it gets made official by the SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis, and he says that it'll be a 6-man tag team match in the main event of SmackDown with Jimmy Uso, Jacob Fatu, and Sami Zayn versus versus the MFT. So those are the main takeaways from this segment here. As far as an opener, man, I actually think this was pretty damn good. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but I actually really enjoyed it. But obviously you guys can leave me your thoughts on this opener down in the comments below. But like I said, I think I definitely enjoyed this opener a lot. So for this opener, definitely very damn good in my opinion. Alright, and then on to our first match of the night. We did have Alexa Bliss versus Piper Niven. And honestly, this match was just basic. It was nothing special. It's literally as you'd expect. Alexa Bliss picks up the win with a quick roll-up on Piper Niven, and then we get a post-match attack from the Secret Service on Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, because Charlotte Flair was obviously at ringside with Alexa Bliss, and then inevitably in this case scenario, the Secret Service actually did stand tall. So honestly, this is just pretty standard. Nothing really crazy happened here. It's pretty much everything went as you most likely expect with this kind of a match from these two. Obviously, I'm assuming next week or at some point is going to finally be the time that the Secret Service, which I would argue is going to be Piper Niven and Alba Fire, are eventually going to go after or going to have a match for the women's tag titles. I would assume that would be maybe next week or at Clash in Paris or something. But as far as this match, it's literally as you'd expect. It's nothing special. Piper Niven wins, post-match attack, Secret Service stands tall. Nothing else to really say here, but yeah, that's really it. That's really all there is to mention here. Alright, and now we moved on to Miz versus Fraxium. And I gotta be honest, this match actually took a second to get good in my opinion, but honestly, when it got good, it became consistently good. And there was some really good spots in this match that I enjoyed. Like I said, the match was not great from start to finish, but I would say roughly halfway to the end is where the match was pretty damn good in my opinion, man. I would argue though, most of this match was kind of Fraxium just pretty much carrying this entire match, but getting towards the end is where Miz did start to get a little bit of offense in there, and then inevitably though, we actually did have Miz win this match. We had Carmelo Hayes he started to get the upper hand on, I believe it was Nathan Frazier, and then he was going to go up to the top rope to hit his move to end the match. But then the Miz tagged in while Carmelo was standing on the top rope, and then the Miz came in and stole the spotlight, tagged himself, and then hit the skull crushing finale for that 1, 2, 3, and then Miz does pick up this win here. Now, obviously, the main takeaway here is the fact that Miz he became the shadow over Carmelo Hayes. He stole the spotlight from Carmelo Hayes. We're probably going to continue seeing this from the Miz to Carmelo Hayes, because obviously inevitably this is going to end up with Carmelo Hayes turning heel or of some sort. He's going to at least turn on the Miz, and he's going to have a singles run at some point. I believe probably in the next few weeks we could expect this. I thought it was going to happen tonight, but if it didn't happen tonight, they at least built for it tonight. So in the next coming weeks, you should definitely expect that Carmelo Hayes will eventually turn on the Miz. And I'm honestly waiting for that, and I cannot wait for that to happen. But once again, though, in this match, Miz does pick up the win here. Alright, and next up, we actually had a banger promo from Drew McIntyre addressing his actions against Cody Rhoads last week. This promo was very damn good, and we're going to break it all down here. We're going to break down the most important things that he stated here. So, he first comes out and says, "I did not attack Cody Rhoads." Then he shows a clip of what happened last week, but then he says, "I did not attack Cody Rhoads," and then he explains the idea. He explains the fact, and he goes through the idea that Cody Rhoads actually attacked me first. And Drew McIntyre he played this whole crime scene out again. He literally called it the crime scene, and he said he's going to reenact it. So he did. He goes to the outside of the ring, and he explains that he was laying out right there down on the mat, and the match last week got called out a disqualification. But then Cody came out and he ran my face right into that post, came over to the announcer's table, started clearing it off, and then he provoked me, and I had so much built up anger that I obviously in return kicked him and gave him a nasty Claymore kick through that announce table. So therefore, I did not attack Cody first. He attacked me first. He provoked me, and you know what happens when you provoke me. I can do vicious things, and that is exactly what happened last week. But then he says that, just like I told you, Cody, I will be the one to take that title off of you, basically. So that is really the main thing that you need to understand here from what Drew McIntyre had to say. He said a lot. He definitely said a lot. But I wanted to break down at least the main things. And I think that is really the main thing to understand here. But the overall promo was really good. The mic work, the things that McIntyre said was awesome. It played into his heel greatly. I think this segment portrayed him as a heel very nicely, man. It was awesome. Love to see it for this feud. I think this segment alone has already built a lot more for this Cody and Drew feud. Even with Cody not even being there, Drew McIntyre, his heel work can literally carry us. It really carried this storyline to a new level, in my opinion, after this promo. I'm not even lying. But yeah, man. So very awesome promo here. Like I said, there was a lot that McIntyre did say, but I think that what I had mentioned is really the main thing that you want to understand here. So I'm excited, man. I cannot wait, obviously, for the Cody and Drew McIntyre match. I really am I'm hyped, man. It's going to be an awesome match, and I'm loving this feud, man. But once again, awesome promo, and let's freaking go, man. Cannot wait for this match, man. It's going to be awesome. Alright, and next up we had the Street Profits versus DIY. And this match was not as good, in my opinion, as the men's tag match that we had just talked about, which was the not DIY, which was Mello Don't Miz and Fraxium. This match was definitely not as good as that one. It just didn't really live up to the as best as it could have. I mean, I'm not saying it was terrible. I feel like there was something about the Fraxium versus Mello Don't Miz that was just a little bit better than this one, in my opinion, but that could just be me. Inevitably, honestly, I'm literally just waiting for the Street Profits with BFAB versus DIY with Candice LeRae. I'm waiting for the six person tag match, or the 6-person mixed tag match. I think that's definitely going to happen soon. It hasn't happened yet. I think that's like I said, it's going to happen soon. That's kind of just what I'm waiting for. I think that's definitely going to be the payoff, the payoff of some sort. I mean, that's definitely going to happen soon. That's kind of just what I'm waiting for. But in this match specifically, the Street Profits did actually pick up the win here. Like I said, I'm not saying this match was bad. It did have some really good moments. There was just something for me about the Fraxium versus Mello Don't Miz that was just a bit better. But like I said, this was not a terrible match in any way. But once again, though, Street Profits do pick up the win, and like I said, I'm honestly just waiting for Street Profits and BFAB versus DIY and Candice LeRae. But we'll probably get that soon. But that's really all there is to mention here. Alright everybody, and now we have finally reached our main event, and the main event of the night was Sami Zayn and Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa and the MFTs, which included Tonga Loa and JC Mateo. Honestly, this was a good match, but what is up with this ending? Why are we having Solo Sikoa get pinned here? That is the question. Why have your United States champion get pinned here by Sami Zayn? It happened last week and it happened this week, where Solo Sikoa gets pinned. And like I said, he is the United States champion. He should not be the one getting pinned here, bro. He should not be the one getting pinned at all. Solo Sikoa is literally getting buried, honestly. It's kind of insane, honestly. Either JC Mateo or Tonga Loa should have taken the pin here if we were going to have Sami and them win. It should not have been Solo Sikoa. Now I could get the reason that Sami pinning Solo for the reason that they're just trying to portray Sami as that guy that he can beat Solo, but we don't know. I mean, I get that. I can get that idea, but unless it's not in the actual one-on-one Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship, there should be no reason that Solo Sikoa is getting pinned in a match like this at all. That is really my main complaint here, and it's a pretty damn big complaint, man. Solo Sikoa, your United States champion, should not be getting pinned in a match like this. Absolutely not. That is no way to book your champion. Honestly, that is no way to book your champion whatsoever. Like I said, Tonga Loa or JC Mateo should have eaten this pin, not Solo Sikoa. And now I could sit here and yap about this all day, but I'm not going to. But I think that's really a major critique of this match, and it definitely needs to be talked about. And I know it's going to be talked about for sure. I don't understand what this idea of WWE booking Solo Sikoa taking the pins is. I don't understand it. But, I mean, I guess they see something we don't, but I just don't understand there. But like I said, as far as this overall match, I think it was good except for this ending. That's really my main complaint, but like I said, it's a pretty damn big complaint if you really think about it here. We didn't have any post-match attack. Sami Zayn and them won, and then the show went off the air. But like I said, overall, the match was pretty damn good. Just like I said, the ending, I don't know why they would have Solo take the pin here. It just really does not make any sense, like I said, if you think about it. But once again, good match, just did not like this ending. Alright everybody, well you have now made it to the end of the video. Leave me all your thoughts down in the comments below on this episode of Smackdown. I personally think the Smackdown was decent. It wasn't anything too special, but there was some good things that took place in this episode of Smackdown. So I think it was at least decent for sure. Like I said, leave me all your thoughts down in the comments below. But before we get out of here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and once again, go follow the socials. Links to those always in the description of every video. That includes my Instagram account and my X account. Like I said, hope y'all enjoyed, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.